Ladies and gentlemen, we begin today by addressing a matter of great importance, one that strikes at the very heart of our values and principles. Recently, Ryan Garcia, a prominent boxer, has made derogatory and racially insensitive remarks about the American black community. These comments have no place in our society and certainly not within the Make America Great Again movement. The MAGA movement stands for unity, respect, and the upliftment of all Americans, regardless of their race, ethnicity, or background. We believe in the promise of America, a land where every individual can strive for greatness, free from prejudice and discrimination. Ryan Garcia's statements are not only offensive, but also fundamentally opposed to the values we hold dear. In light of his remarks, we must unequivocally state that Ryan Garcia does not represent the MAGA movement. His words and actions are in direct contradiction to our mission of fostering a united and strong America. As such, we disassociate ourselves from his rhetoric and actions. Let us work together to build a future where every American is valued and respected, where the spirit of unity and progress prevails. Together, we can ensure that the MAGA movement remains a beacon of hope, strength, and inclusivity for all. Ladies and gentlemen, join us today. We embark on a journey to uncover the truth behind the false narratives being perpetuated by certain members of the Los Angeles City Council and individuals like boxer Ryan Garcia. These individuals have made disparaging and racist remarks about the Black and American communities, all while ignoring the rampant violence and crime in their own backyard, Mexico. This expose will lay bare the facts and figures that prove once and for all that Mexico as a whole is far more violent and crime-ridden than Chicago, often dubbed the most dangerous city in America. Let's start by addressing the blatant racism emanating from the Los Angeles City Council, a body dominated by Democrats who hypocritically preach tolerance while harboring deep-seated prejudices. Council members like Nury Martinez, Kevin De Leon, and Gil Cedillo have been caught making racist remarks against the black community. Nury Martinez infamously referred to black people as little dark people and made derogatory comments about the adoptive son of a white councilman. Kevin De Leon compared a black child to a designer handbag, a grossly inappropriate and racist analogy. Gil Cedillo laughed and agreed with these racist remarks, further entrenching his own culpability. Now let's juxtapose these hateful words with the brutal reality of crime in Mexico. Mexico, a country riddled with drug cartels and organized crime, stands as the most violent nation in North America. The statistics are staggering. The entire country of Mexico's homicide rate was a shocking 26.1 per 100,000 people in 2022. This is not just a number, it represents thousands of lives lost to brutal, senseless violence. The pervasive influence of drug cartels like the Sinaloa and Jalisco New Generation cartels has turned Mexico into a war zone. These cartels engage in large-scale battles, often resulting in mass casualties and terrorizing entire communities. In cities like Ciudad Juarez, the situation is even more dire. This city, which is the sister city of El Paso, Texas, has seen mass murders and femicides on a scale unimaginable in the United States. Hundreds of women have been killed and buried, their deaths often going unpunished and unnoticed by the global community. The violence in Ciudad Juarez has spilled over into El Paso, affecting the crime rate and turning parts of the city into a war zone. Mexican crime statistics. Homicide rate 26.1 per 100,000 people in 2022. Organized crime influence high, with significant involvement from cartels like the Sinaloa and Jalisco New Generation. Ciudad Juarez, known for mass murders and femicides, severely impacting neighboring El Paso, Texas. Chicago crime statistics. Homicide rate 18 per 100,000 people in 2022. Primary crime localized gang violence. Community disruption, but not on the scale of systemic destabilization seen in Mexico. Let's bring this closer to home. Chicago, often maligned as America's most dangerous city, pales in comparison to the violence in Mexico. In 2022, Chicago's homicide rate was 18 per 100,000 people. While this is indeed high, it is significantly lower than Mexico's national average. The violence in Chicago, though severe, is primarily localized and gang-related. In contrast, Mexico's violence is systemic, widespread, and driven by powerful, well-armed cartels that operate with impunity. The impact of this violence is also vastly different. In Chicago, communities are disrupted, but in Mexico, entire regions are destabilized. Mass displacement and humanitarian crises are common as people flee the terror inflicted by cartels. Unlike in America, where communities do not face displacement on such a massive scale, Mexicans are often forced to leave their homes and seek refuge elsewhere, with many coming to the United States. These individuals, fleeing a violent culture that has destroyed their cities, arrive in America seeking safety and a better life. Yet upon arrival, some continue to propagate the very racism and disrespect they supposedly fled from, disparaging American communities, particularly Black Americans. Moreover, instances of economic blockades by Mexican communities in California further exacerbate tensions. There have been reports of businesses in Los Angeles and Northern California hiring only bilingual employees, effectively creating barriers for Black and white Americans. This exclusionary practice not only fosters economic disparity, but also perpetuates a divisive environment. Case studies of discrimination. In September 2019, a San Jose-based food producer and distributor settled a race discrimination lawsuit for $2 million. The company was found to have refused to hire non-Hispanic applicants, including Black, white, and Asian individuals, for unskilled production positions due to a preference for Hispanic workers. Marquez Brothers International, Inc., California. In September 2019, the company settled for $2 million after being charged with refusing to hire non-Hispanic applicants for warehouse positions and imposing unnecessary language requirements to discourage non-Hispanic applicants. Black workers in the Inland Empire region reported facing racial harassment and exclusion from job opportunities in warehouses dominated by Hispanic workers. Tesla settled a racial discrimination lawsuit with Owen Diaz, a Black worker, who reported widespread racial harassment at the Fremont plant, highlighting the company's preference for Hispanic workers in some departments. In Southern California neighborhoods, there have been numerous reports of violence and intimidation by Mexican gangs against Black and white residents. These acts of violence highlight a troubling pattern of discrimination and aggression. The Avenues gang committed several racially motivated murders, including the killings of Anthony Prudhomme, Christopher Bowser, and Kenneth Curry Wilson. Federal prosecutors brought hate crime charges against gang members, resulting in life sentences for the perpetrators. The Mexican mafia-controlled Hazard Street gang engaged in criminal activities including drug trafficking and acts of violence against Black residents. This led to federal racketeering charges against gang leaders. The Azusa 13 gang conducted a campaign of violence and intimidation to drive Black residents out of the community. Gang members were charged with civil rights violations for their actions. In the Northern California city of Oakland, Mexican gangs have been involved in violent turf wars that have displaced many Black residents and led to numerous homicides. Richmond has seen Mexican gang violence targeting Black communities, including shootings and assaults, leading to increased police presence and community displacement. The Mission District in San Francisco has experienced significant violence from Mexican gangs, resulting in numerous crimes and displacement of longtime Black and white residents. The racist narrative put forth by some Mexican individuals that they are non-criminal, hard-working people, while Americans, particularly Black Americans, are inherently violent, is not only false but deeply offensive. The facts tell a different story. Mexico's crime wave is far more severe than anything seen in American cities, including Chicago. It's time to set the record straight. The racist remarks from members of the Los Angeles City Council and individuals like Ryan Garcia are hypocritical and unfounded. The data clearly shows that Mexico, as a whole, is more violent and crime-ridden than even the most dangerous cities in the United States. But let's not turn this into a finger-pointing exercise. Mexicans coming to America should focus on building a better life, not perpetuating harmful stereotypes. Recognize that the Democratic Party has historically encouraged divisive racial narratives, creating organizations like the Ku Klux Klan to enforce these beliefs. The Ku Klux Klan, founded in 1865 by former Democrat Confederate soldiers, initially served as a paramilitary force for the Democratic Party, aiming to undermine the Reconstruction efforts and restore white supremacy in the South. The Klan has a long history of anti-Mexican violence and discrimination in California, particularly during the early 20th century. Between 1848 and 1928, at least 600 Mexicans were lynched in the United States, with 188 of these incidents occurring in California. These lynchings were often brutal and public, intended to maintain white dominance and terrorize Mexican communities. In the 1920s and 1930s, the KKK was active in various parts of California, including San Diego and Anaheim. In Anaheim, the Klan engaged in rallies and acts of violence against Mexican Americans to intimidate and disenfranchise them. In San Diego, Mexican workers and their communities faced significant harassment and violence from the Klan. Reports from this era describe Mexican laborers being dragged, lynched, whipped, or burned with little to no legal repercussions for the perpetrators. One of the earliest documented lynchings of a woman in California was that of Josefa Segovia, known as Pretty Wanita, in 1851 in Downeyville. She was accused of killing a white man who had attempted to assault her, and her lynching became a symbol of the broader anti-Mexican sentiment prevalent during that era. The site of present-day Knott's Berry Farm has a dark history as a location where many Mexicans were routinely hanged. The hanging tree in the Ghost Town section of the park is a reminder of this grim past, where public executions and lynchings were once a daily spectacle. At least 10 men, including 7 Mexicans, 1 Chilean, 1 European, and 1 indigenous man, were hanged from a tree in Jackson, Amador County, which became known as the Hangman's Tree. During the Great Depression in the 1930s, the KKK supported mass deportation efforts targeting Mexicans in Southern California. This initiative, known as Mexican repatriation, was part of broader efforts to address economic pressures by reducing competition for jobs. The program resulted in the deportation of approximately 2 million Mexicans, including many who were U.S. citizens or legal residents. Los Angeles County alone saw more than 13,000 Mexicans deported between 1931 and 1934. Moving forward, it is imperative to reject alliances with hate groups and embrace unity. By promoting unity and working together, we can build a stronger, more equitable society, where the lessons of the past guide us toward a brighter future. Reject alliances with hate groups. It's absurd for anyone, including figures like Ryan Garcia, to align themselves with groups like the KKK. America is the land of the free and the home of the brave, continuously striving to fight against racism and promote equality. Promote unity. Mexican immigrants should strive to integrate into American society respectfully. This means understanding and appreciating the struggles of all communities, particularly Black Americans, and working together to create a better future. Political engagement. Consider supporting political figures and parties that promote unity and effective immigration policies. For example, Donald Trump has pledged to promote safe immigration and economic incentives for both Black and Hispanic communities, aiming to bring peace and prosperity to all Americans. We've addressed the pressing issues, confronted false narratives, and unveiled the undeniable truths about the state of violence and discrimination. Today, we reaffirm our dedication to fostering a nation where every individual is valued and respected. The MAGA movement is not just a slogan, it's a mission. It's about ensuring that the spirit of unity and progress prevails, making America not only great again, but greater than ever before. And now, more than ever, we need a leader who embodies these values, a leader who can guide us through these challenging times with wisdom and compassion. That leader is Donald Trump. He is committed to making America a place where every voice is heard and every citizen has the chance to succeed. So let's come together and vote for Donald Trump in 2024. Let's make America great again by standing united, by promoting love and respect, and by working towards a brighter future for all. Thank you for joining us on this journey. This is Red Hat News, where the truth speaks loud. We invite you to like, comment, and subscribe to our channel. Together we can build a nation we are all proud of. Let's move forward with hope and determination. God bless you all, and God bless America.